Hey, it's Korinn, 365 Days of Open Heart Living, day 133, Challenged Equilibrium. So when I think of the word equilibrium, I think of balance, like when something is balanced. When I looked up the definition of equilibrium, the definition says a state in which opposing forces are or influences are balanced. So it is balanced. But the thing that stuck out to me with the definition was opposing forces. And then, yeah, it's like positive and negative. The polarity, like when you push the polarity towards each other, there's this push back. And within that state of those opposing polarities, there is a balance that needs to be maintained so that they're not as intensely in opposition of each other. And that's life, right? We constantly have opposing forces within us, around us, in relationships, in work, in health, in personal development, in personal gains, in finances, in all aspects of being a human being. There are opposition, a negative and a positive, that come to our center and push on us. And in having an equilibrium, we balance to them. We balance to them in such a way that we maintain a homeostasis of a certain level of function or a certain level of being, and it becomes our pattern in life. We function within that homeostasis of how we off-put the tension from the charge and manage it, the stress of life or whatnot. And we also balance how we have the input of the positive. Okay, so really direct illustration of opposing forces is that I'm trying to record a meditation and my kid is in the background being loud. He's got buddies over, they're getting ready to leave. I don't know if it was picked up on the mic at all, but it's distracting me. So my equilibrium is coming back to center and focusing here, being within myself, and coming up with the words that are coming from my heart, from my mind, that are being inspired to be shared on this topic of when equilibrium is challenged, the forces that act towards us and like make us move, right? We are made to move and trying to find what balance is, because it shifts. If we have something that's pushing itself harder against us, we move around it, we move with it. We try to figure out a way of better operation to get back into that state of balance. So when our equilibrium is challenged, there it can be negative and positive forces at play, pushing us and moving us. And ultimately, we are in the center of that and have to decide how we're going to manage that, what we're going to address, what we're going to focus on. I have had some personal challenge come up in my life with somebody sharing their opinion and perspective. And one thing that I noticed in it is that it was with good nature that that opinion and perspective was shared with me, and that I feel like in a state of openness, you're able to receive those words from others, because sometimes it's hard. We are so in our groove, so in our patterns. Sometimes it's hard to have somebody else be like, oh, do you see this is happening in your life? It's so easy to like peg things for other people of that is what's really going on when we have our own sense of balance, our own kind of way of dealing with those tensions that push and those openings that release, so that we maintain our equilibrium. And life is tough, right? Family life is complex, and it's not just one or two people. It's, it's not just you or you and another person. A family is a family. And so when you have the dynamic of how your equilibrium is maintained in your family and something comes along and challenges that, it can be hard. It can be daunting to think about what else needs to be done to right the ship, to get things back on track, or to just even acknowledge that something isn't working well. When somebody comes and challenges your equilibrium and they point something out to you that they see is occurring in your life, in your personal conduct, in your relationships, in your level of work, or whatever it might be, in your level of willingness to do good for yourself, for your health, for your mind, for your state of well-being, then the first thing that is needed to be done is to take note. Take note of what is being said. If somebody comes to you and challenges your equilibrium, challenges how you are living life and keeping things balanced, because we all have those tensions and we all have those openings that release tension. If they see that this tension is maybe, greater than what it needs to be, and that release is maybe not in balance with the level of tension, then they're sharing their perspective. And if they're open enough with you to share their perspective, you can give them the due respect of taking note and not going into a closed down, shut down state of feeling defensive or backing off or shutting yourself down, quieting. It's okay. It's okay to have hard conversations. It's okay to hear criticism and to take it to heart. It does not always mean that you need to follow suit and do what they're saying. It doesn't always mean that they're right in what their perception is. After all, this is your life and your way of being, your way of maintaining your own equilibrium in your family, in your personal conduct, and the way that you work, and the way that you live. And there's always going to be reasons behind why we do the things that we do, things that maybe we're even out of touch with. And so somebody pointing stuff out to us, it might be the nudge we need to open, to listen and to hear and to see how we truly are and what truly needs to be done. So take note. The second thing is to entertain in openness what is being presented to you. Again, what I had just said, you don't need to close down on it. In the moment, maybe you do. Maybe you do close down. Maybe you're like, oh, this is too much for me to hear. I'm overwhelmed by this. This doesn't feel good. I feel like I'm getting punched in my gut because I feel like it's an attack on me or the situation at hand that is being discussed, and that my equilibrium, my balance have been building to maintain is being challenged. And maybe you do shut down, but in time, in taking note, pausing, reflecting, in time, let yourself open to truly taking that position as a as just an opportunity being presented, getting you to wake up a little bit from the repeat of life, from the pattern of life, from your normal established foundation of function, and letting it maybe inspire something more for you. Let what is being presented be openly received. You don't have to act on anything. But if you close down to somebody sharing something with good nature for your own well-being, it's not going to help you. And then the person that shared their thought, their willingness to share their opinion, their perspective for your own good, it's not going to affect them because it's your life. It's your life. So ultimately, you get to decide what you want to take from the challenge of how you stay in balance in life, or what is balanced in life and what is out of balance in life. It's ultimately up to you. And when the challenge is given, you get to choose how much of the challenge you accept, how much of that is presented to you should be looked at further. So the next thing is to take a step back from a one-sided view, from your sided view, and to just look at the bigger picture. Are there other people involved? Is what this person or this opportunity that has challenged your balance of how you maintain your daily in and out of stress and release, is there a bigger picture for you to see on how it's affecting you, on how it's affecting the people in your life, on how it's affecting your quality of work, on how it's affecting your quality of mind, body, spirit, heart? Those are always the four I go back to, because they're you, your prominent self, and they're not packaged individually. It's an integrated whole. But I list them out because they are our layers of operation. They are how our equilibrium is balanced. If we have physical stressors, maybe we balance through emotional release. If we have mental stressors, maybe we balance through spiritual connection. And all of those things, they have a place, and they're a part of you deciding if the balance you've been maintaining is how you want to keep maintaining your beingness, the way that you're living, or if that balance that you've been maintaining, if it could be shifted in a way or an area for your betterment. And maybe because of that challenge being presented to you by somebody seeing a different view than what you see. We all have our personal lens, and they do too, right? That person that is giving the advice, their heartfelt opinion, they have a personal lens of what is acceptable, on what is manageable, on what is a positive way to be handling a situation, on what is to a detriment of, if you don't shift and change, this might happen. And in the perspective of one view versus another view, someplace there is the in-between of where the two are looking at the same scenario and offering a different viewpoint of, I see this happening and I don't think it's good for you. Do you see that? And then the other viewpoint of, this is how I have been operating. This is why. And then reflecting upon, is this an accurate view? And maybe it's less important to say what you think you could say in defense of how you conduct yourself and what your balance is. And maybe it's not important at all for them to hear it. That's up to you in the moment of conversation and judgment. But coming to yourself and being able to entertain a different vantage point, it can be helpful. And that's a place you're going to get to with openness in your heart, openness in your ability to hear what somebody's saying to you. And maybe in your feeling your need to kind of explain why this is how it is and what this is for you and what it means and how it feels, that is a good thing, because then you're in it, you're feeling it, you're expressing it, you're looking at it, and you're getting the opportunity to have a conversation about it with somebody that has challenged you. The next thing I wrote down that you can do after you take that step back and look at the perspective that you hold and the perspective being lent on how you are maintaining balance with that particular thing that somebody's challenging. That's not really a balance, honey. That's not really a balance. You need to look at that. The next thing is to center in yourself, because ultimately you are the one to balance yourself and to make those internal and external shifts to bring things into a different functioning equilibrium if you so choose to. So center into yourself, feel yourself. Allow time for any emotional charge that has maybe been absorbed in the interchange, because it's not always comfortable, right? When somebody points something out, and challenges you, it's not always comfortable. Allow time and space so that you feel like you've taken a breath and have done those first couple things of stopping and taking note of what has been said, of entertaining in openness what is being presented, and then taking a step back from your one-sided view to assess what an alternative view is. And in centering in yourself after doing those initial things in a time where you feel like the emotions have mellowed out and you can think clearer, because when our emotions are heightened, everything is a little bit more intense and we don't think as clear. Centering and feeling your breath brings you into that space of clarity. And I think now is the time to do that. So go ahead and close your eyes. Relax your body wherever you sit. Taking a nice breath in and exhale out. Feeling your breath, mellowing your body, connecting your feeling sense with your awareness that lulls your humanness and opens you to a greater awareness of yourself. Just feel your breath, and when your mind wanders, come back to feeling your breath. Simply experiencing your open awareness and feeling your body's breath. resting in your center by feeling your breath. Resting in your center by feeling your breath and feeling yourself present in your open awareness. Feel your breath centered in your awareness. Feel what is needed in this balance. If you do need to adjust, or if you need to maintain your equilibrium in it, feel your breath, feel your center, and know your balance is your right and your responsibility. It is your right to be able to manage tensions and releases in such a way that you can move through life and manage living, but also know it is your responsibility to not just stay in the status quo of what the pattern has been, but to when equilibrium needs to be challenged, to take the responsibility and looking at it and meeting the challenge needed. your breath. And when you're ready, open your eyes. In taking on the challenge of how you maintain balance in your life, in that equilibrium that you are the center of conducting, how you move through the tensions, how you accommodate for that which needs release. You don't have to take everything that has been put on you in the challenge. You can take what feels right for you, what you can work in now. Take that which glimmers and lands on your heart in a way that feels like there's some betterment ahead, and having attuned to and assessed and made a potential adjustment in using a certain type of way of being as your balancer, the thing that keeps you balanced. You can pick a small part, or you can pick nothing at all, because you're in charge. But make it yours, make it what you will for you, in accepting a challenge on your equilibrium. Because in the long run, it could be confirmation that you are doing an amazing job. Not everybody is perfect, but you find a way to get through it. Or it could be the wake-up call that you need to check yourself and redirect yourself. And as always, come back to your heart in openness and live your heart.